We speak about narrative all the time on this show, and Molly McCann, especially Meatball, when she is Meatball, is a perfect example of a fighter who is worth the narrative. The UFC saw the golden goose and was like, all right, come on, girl. Like, even with the loss, take your time off, do your thing, be the person you need to be to come back and provide the services you did. Because at one point, Molly McCann was a star and brought arguably the second most eyes to the Irish nation. I mean, we all know Connor's number one, but Molly McCann, Patty Pimblett, there's some names that are coming up, and even there's one on this prelims we'll get to. But Derek, the big thing for Molly that I'm still a little torn about for personally. We saw, I don't know if you watched her pre-fight presser, but I was watching it and I saw a growth of Molly McCann, a kind of development, if you will, in the character, not only, but will that affect the fighter? She's always talking when she goes into fights, it's going to be locked in, dead set. Do you think the growth that she's taken in character will have a positive or negative outcome on the way she fights?
Well, I'm going to pause you for a second so you just don't get annihilated in the comments. Molly McCann is not an Irish fighter, my friend. We don't have a ton of Irish fighters. We have a Irish fighter, your sleeper we'll talk about, but this is London, right? Unless I'm incorrect. These are the Scousers, the Liverpool folks. You know correct, what I'm saying? So not Irish, but let's put some respect because the people are going to be watching this. Yeah, exactly. But
don't roast me in the comments, but don't roast it too hard.
Exactly. There we go. Right. But if you're talking about the pre-fight presser, I do agree with you. We saw a stoic Molly McCann. We saw humbled Molly McCann after a beatdown against Erin Blanchfield, where arguably she suffered the worst loss of her entire career in terms of the methodology of how it went down. Right. So she noted, hey, this is really calm. This is probably the calmest event that I've been a part of, but I don't think that you should allow those pre-fight pressers to fool you, because when Molly McCann fights, I've only seen her fight with one fight style, and that is nothing but absolute aggression, walking forward with reckless abandon. And when you have a fighter who you do have to watch out for with that armbar with Julija Stoliarenko, but who doesn't really offer much else in terms of being a specialist, I think Molly McCann will feel more confident than she ever has. So just know, don't get taken down, and then let's put in some work. So with that being said, I think that the growth of Molly McCann is evident, but let's talk about this part, because this is the real thing that I'm interested in. When we associate Molly McCann, do we associate Molly McCann with flyweight championship contention, or do we associate Molly McCann with a absolutely fun fighter who I will always watch, no matter if it's for a title or not, or if it's against, Joe Blow down the street? What do you think?
100% the latter, Derek. At least for me, Molly McCann is that persona that will just drive money. She's the female version of Red Panty Night that has the growth going there. She's fun. Everybody wants to see her. There's room for that in the sport, and it's rough because some fighters, a lot of fighters, I should say, see the need to be one or the other. Fortunately for Molly, I think she possesses the skills to do both, and thankfully she can always fall back on being a very fun and entertaining fighter as well.
100%. Now, let's talk about the actual fight. Plus 325 submission prop for Julija Stoliarenko. This is the reality, AJ. In my opinion, it's armbar or bust. If you do not get that armbar, I do not see a win coming from Stoliarenko, who is 1-4 in the UFC. I also don't really imagine that she will be rostered if she loses again. And you have to take into consideration, this is the other big thing we haven't brought up. Julija Stoliarenko says, you know what, let's take a shot at flyweight. Even though, historically, bantamweight, featherweight, collapsed on the scale. I don't know if it was once, maybe even twice. We have to ensure that she makes weight for this contest, or else this conversation doesn't matter. But I mean, this seems like one of those last ditch efforts. This seems kind of like the TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt effect of like, I'll just go down just so I can finally get something together, and then it just doesn't work out. Do we see a diminished Julija Stoliarenko at 125 pounds?
100%, Derek, 100%. I'm actually curious to see how those weigh-ins really look, because we're going to see a definitely depleted Julija Stoliarenko, and how much she can rehydrate after that's going to be a big thing, because we know Molly McCann is going to bring the pressure. Will the cut be too much to crumble for the pressure? I'm curious, because I agree with you. She does have a tendency to especially drop off in fights too.
Do you lay $10 down on a plus 325 submission prop for Stoliarenko?
$10, hell yeah.
Because that goes to show there is confidence that she can get it done. We're not saying that this is just going to be one-way traffic for Molly McCann. I just imagine if she can avoid getting taken down, I see this as a pretty thorough victory for Molly McCann. All right, question time, AJ. Over and under 1.5 rounds.
Ooh. I'm taking the under, Derek. I'm taking the under. What about you?
All right. I mean, I don't know. I'm still conflicted. I'll wait till you give your pick, and then I'll give mine. How are the people? How's it getting it done? How is Molly McCann getting this one?
That's an interesting one, Derek. I'm actually going plus 150 TKO late round one. Late round one. I think we're going to see a little bit of calmer Molly McCann off the jump, then barrel through her, get it done before there's even a threat of the arm bar. What about you? How do you see this one getting done?
125 pounds, probably diminished performance. Molly McCann coming through, throwing hammers. I wanted to say decision because oftentimes in these matchups, man, you can almost always smash that over 2.5. I just think Molly McCann comes in with reckless abandon and takes the TKO. So I'll rock with the TKO on this one just because I don't really see a submission coming out of Molly McCann, especially against Stoliarenko. But with that being said, showcase bout for the meatball minus 320 favorite, and we're locking it in for Molly McCann.